housekeeping stuff so we can go ahead and get started. Anyways, so yeah, Monday was my first day of surgery, and this week was extremely exhausting. I worked nearly almost 70 hours. My surgeon was on call, so I was on call, and that means he can get called in for emergency surgeries, and if he goes, I go. So that was a really huge adjustment for me. My first day, I got there around 6:40 a.m. and needed to be ready and scrubbed in by 7 a.m. for the first surgery. So the first surgery was a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, which was around like about 4 hours, and that was a really cool experience for me. It was my first time being in an operating room, and I basically just like sat in the corner, or like stood in the corner for the whole time, and just tried my best to not be in anybody's way and to not break sterile field. So yeah, I just like stood as still as possible, but that was really exciting for me. And then I made the mistake of not eating beforehand, so by the time we were like 3 hours into the surgery, I was so hungry. And that was also around the time where my surgeon, I guess, remembered that I was there, because he didn't acknowledge me like for 3 hours, and then started to ask me a bunch of PIM questions. So if you're not super familiar with like medical school or PA school training during rotations, there's this thing called pimping, and it sounds really weird, but it's basically when your attending physician or your preceptor, they will ask you a ton of questions, and the way it's been explained to me is it's called like put in my place questions. So it's kind of a way for them to gauge your knowledge and also challenge you. So yeah, my surgeon asked me a lot of questions, and a lot of them I was able to answer, but then a lot of them I wasn't. So he started off with some pretty like simple questions, like explaining different sutures, like which sutures are absorbable versus non-absorbable, like what are the different types of sutures, and things like that. And then he started to ask questions that were like so random. He asked, what does the current literature say on the percentage of weight loss for sleeve gastrectomies versus gastric bypass versus weight loss with just diet and exercise versus weight loss with medications, and like asking exact percentages. And I was just like, I don't know, why would I know that? I don't know. So yeah, like there's so many things where I was like, I don't know, but I will look it up and get back to you. And he would end up just like telling me the answer. So yeah, so that's kind of stressful when he does that, because he also will do that in front of everybody, like in front of other nurses, the surgical techs, the PA. So it can be kind of stressful, but it is a really good opportunity for me to learn, I guess. And I'm trying to just like get used to what he would probably ask me and make sure that I study those things beforehand. But I don't know, he just will like ask me really random stuff sometimes. So that's the one thing that for me is really stressful. But yeah, I've been, other than that, really enjoying my time in the OR, and it's been really cool being able to be first assist and actually be a part of these surgeries and do something. I've also been able to close on a few different patients, so that's like doing subcutaneous sutures to close them up, and that's been shoulders here and there, like to close up, but for the most part, he'll like have his PA and me, then another student, close up. So he's not always watching me, but the one time that he did watch, I was like super, super nervous, but he was able to do a really nice, clean suture, and he he just said like, not bad, which was, I think, the nicest compliment I'm ever gonna get from him. But yeah, that was really cool, and I don't think that I'm gonna be interested in pursuing a surgical specialty, but I really do love suturing, and so I'm trying to take advantage of this rotation and try to suture as much as possible and practice a bunch of different types of sutures. So yeah, I've also been able, so some surgeries that I have been able to see are the weight loss surgeries. He does lots of robotic surgeries, so he uses something called a Da Vinci to do these robotic laparoscopic surgeries, which is really, really cool to see. Some things he can do with that are like cholecystectomies, the weight loss surgeries, some not so much hernia repairs, but what else has he done? Appendectomies. So that's really cool. Something else that has been really challenging for me is figuring out when I'm gonna study, because this whole week I haven't really been able to study for my end of rotation exam, like at all. Any time that I have to study in between patients, or like during like small breaks, I use to prepare for the next surgery and for like potential questions that my surgeon might ask me. So a really big thing is anatomy, knowing like surgical anatomy, knowing indications and contraindications for surgeries, like potential complications, and I mean really like I think the biggest thing that I get asked on is anatomy, which, you know, obviously is really important to know. So that's something that I've been trying to focus on a lot this week, but unfortunately that means I'm not able to study for my exam, which is, I'd say it's like really different from preparing for these surgeries. Like the content of what I'm being tested on is different. So yeah, I think what I'm planning on doing is just like really using my weekends and any days off to just dedicate them completely to studying, which is kind of a bummer because that means that I won't really be able to go home as often. Like I was originally planning on going home this weekend to visit my family, but because I hadn't been able to study this past week for my exam, I just like had to stay and catch up on my studying. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but the way I'm making myself feel better about it is by just telling myself that this is just for a really short amount of time, that I just have to like just put my head down and work really hard, which, you know, I have to do that for every rotation, but I think this one is going to be the most challenging in terms of time management and adjusting to really long hours. So I'm telling myself like it's only for a short amount of time, and then after this I can hopefully have a little bit of a more normal schedule, like an 8 to 5 schedule hopefully. So yeah, that's been, I think, so far the most challenging part about this new rotation. Also, just getting used to a surgeon and his personality. especially with his surgical staff, like he gets really intense during surgeries, and it's kind of weird because his mood like shifts so quickly. So sometimes he'll be like in a really great mood and he's joking around and making people laugh, and then like something happens during the surgery and he just like freaks out and like starts yelling. So that's kind of weird. And yeah, I'm just trying to like learn his, like, when I feel like his mood is gonna shift, and just kind of be like prepared for that. So thankfully he hasn't yelled at me personally yet, but I have definitely seen him yell at other staff. So I don't know, I'm just like trying to not let it get to me and just kind of brush it off and not take things personally, like when he's mad. And so yeah, that's also been a little interesting. But he's, other than that, like, he's pretty nice. It's funny because he we were waiting for a patient to be prepped, and he asked about like what specialties my classmate and I would be considering, and before I even got to answer, he's like, you give me peds vibes, like the vibe of being in pediatrics. And I thought that was so funny because I get that. I've gotten that a few times, and I do really actually like peds, and I am considering going into pediatrics. So I think it's kind of funny that he said that. I think he meant it more as like he sees me as like soft, like I'm not a very tough, intimidating person. So maybe that wasn't considered a compliment to him, but for me it was a compliment because I really do actually love pediatrics. I'm also considering emergency medicine. I really loved my time in the ER when I did that rotation, so I think I would enjoy it, and I'm heavily considering it, and I've like looked into jobs in an area that I want to work in for emergency medicine. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. But I did think that it was kind of funny that he kind of like knew I had like a personality for pediatrics. So I don't know what that says about me besides being, I guess, a little bit more sensitive and I guess kind of goofy. But yeah, I like that he said that. I don't know. But yeah, that has been my surgery rotation so far. It's been really exhausting, but I am really excited for the upcoming weeks and seeing what other cool procedures I can be a part of. I've also been thinking a little bit more about my plans after I graduate, and that's been really exciting, but also really stressful. Just kind of like figuring out where I want to live and what specialty I want to pursue. So like I said, I'm heavily considering emergency medicine or pediatrics. I think right now I'm leaning more towards emergency medicine, which is really surprising for me because I always thought that I would never consider emergency medicine. I thought I was gonna hate my rotation, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. So I think because it has such a wide like range of things that you can see, I think that's why I really like it. I also like the more fast-paced environment, and it being able to not take work home. Like typically you should be finishing all of your charts that same day after you see the patient. So yeah, I think I also just had really, really great always been with the goal of like, oh, like this will be clinical experience to apply to school, things like that. Like this will be my first time just having a career. So I don't know. To me, that's kind of weird. I'm sure some people are like, it's just a job, but I don't know. I'm really excited for that and for this like new journey in my life of being a provider, and it's really cool to me, and I'm excited for it. I'm also excited to like actually make money and not just live off of loans, because I want to buy things. um, and I know that's not a reason why anybody should be pursuing medicine. You can make a lot more money doing a lot of other things that are not as stressful and difficult. But it is a nice perk just being able to actually have an income and not live off of loans. So I'm excited to travel. I really want to go to Europe again and go back to Japan. And I want to be able to like buy things for my mom and help take care of my sisters. So yeah, those are things that I'm looking forward to after I graduate. But yeah, so that was my little yap session about how surgery has been going. Oh, sorry, I'm like moving the microphone because I don't want to bump into it, but now I feel like the camera's focusing on it. Okay. I also feel like my laptop is overheating, and I think that it's getting super loud, so if you can hear it in the background, I apologize. Apologize. But yeah, I've also been watching a little bit more TV. I'm watching this show called Severance. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and it's really, really good. I didn't think I was gonna like it this much, but one of my sisters and I are watching it, and I'm like trying to get through it really quickly because I got like the 1 week Apple TV trial, and I'm not trying to pay for. So yeah, I'm not trying to like buy or pay for a whole month subscription, but I think that's gonna be what I am gonna do anyways, just because I don't have the time to watch an entire series in just a few days. I don't really watch TV during the week because I'm just busy. And I'm like been so tired I just go home and sleep, but I've been able to watch a little bit on Friday night. I came home from the hospital and I just passed out. I took a fat nap and slept for a few hours, and then woke up and kind of caught up on my house chores and cooked and watched a little bit of Severance. So I think I watched an episode on Friday night, and I might watch an episode after I finish up this video before bed. But yeah, I've been really, really liking it. There was another ASM artist that I follow who had talked about it in a few of her videos, and at the time I thought that it was an interesting concept for a show, but then I heard like more and more people talking about it, so I was like, okay, like I'll start watching it. So I've been watching it with my sister, and I've been really enjoying it. It's really good. It's with Adam Scott, and he is really, really good in the show. I didn't think that I was gonna like him as an actor, but I really do. I really like how he is in that show. So yeah, I think that's it. I haven't really been able to go to the gym this week or cook as much as I wanted to. So the only other thing that, like, I guess fun thing I've been able to do is kind of watch that show a little bit. So yeah, that has been my experience so far, and I hope that I can just kind of keep updating you guys on how my rotation is going. I'm really excited to share a little bit more, and also I was kind of thinking about maybe I just know that it's not like learning stuff isn't always super relaxing, so I'm not sure if that's something that people will be interested in watching. So if that is something, please let me know in the comments, or shoot me an email, and let me know. I was thinking of maybe talking about like different surgeries, different procedures, or conditions. I have one video kind of talking about cardiology and just studying, but in like ASMR, so maybe I'll do something like that again, but I'm not sure, we'll see. Also, now that I have this email for this channel, like I said in the beginning, just please feel free to reach out, and I would really appreciate like feedback or suggestions or recommendations for videos. Let me know, I guess, like what triggers you like and things like that.